The other day, I was talking to a colleague and I said, "Oh, do we have this? I need to test this. I found this. You know what I'm talking about? You do, of course you do. We're talking about the cassette. Who remembers C90, C60? And what did you have to do to record over the top of them? Do you remember? You do, of course. You bit of sellotape. You remember when you were recording all the radio shows and the charts directly from the radio on your recorder? But you couldn't always afford to buy a cassette, could you? So you just re-record over it. I know there were some wonderful collectors who've collected every single chart rundown, all preserved beautifully on these. But guess what? In this 21st century world, they've become a collector's item. While in my studios, nobody actually knew what a cassette was. Let me explain. Hi, good morning. Nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. Nostalgia. Can you imagine when we bought cassettes? Not that long ago, really. They sort of phased out, by the way, in the early noughties because Walkmans were replaced by mini discs and then everybody was downloading. Who remembers MySpace for music? You remember that? Yeah, that went wrong, didn't it? That was a big thing. But now, if you've got cassettes, you could be literally sitting reel to reel on a fortune, particularly if you've got some rare things. Now, the ones that are really selling quite well are something like, say, Prince's, yes, the superstar Prince. He made a very exclusive tape for a fashion show which was just given out to all the luminaries attending. That could be worth over £5,000 to £10,000. But other collector's items include things like the Bangles, the Go-Go's, Lincoln Park, many others. So do have a look around because I love to share these stories with you. As I say, we thought vinyl was a thing of the past, didn't we? Now it looks like cassettes are coming back. And get this as well, Walkmans are on the rise. People like the quality and the sound of a Walkman, headset. And I don't know about you, do you remember this one? The Walkman that was lemon and waterproof. Now, I found this fascinating because the whole box where you put the cassette in allegedly was waterproof, but I don't know about the headphones. Do you see what I mean? So if you go into water, what about the headphones? It might be all right for the tape, but how are you going to hear it? You just hear bubbles, don't you? It's ridiculous, isn't it? But on a serious note, the 90s and the early noughties and the 80s, if you've got cassettes, have a look in your loft because quite simply, you could be literally sitting on a fortune. As I say, the biggest ones can even go back to the Perry Comos, the Christmas collections, the Sing Along and Max collection. A beautiful entertainer called Max Bygraves is apparently selling well. Now, I don't know about you. When I look back at some of these nostalgia things, you think, oh, you'll chuck them out because people don't need them, do they? And all that sort of stuff. And then a few years down the line, everything that we thought was gone for good suddenly pops back up with a hefty price tag. Now, what have you got locked away in your reel to reels or C60 or C90s cassettes? I'd love to know exactly who you've got stored away in there. Me? Well, I've got quite a few, I have to tell you. But right now, I don't have anything to play them on. So I'm unsure about exactly what's on those tapes. When I find out more, you'll know more. Neil Sean in the very heart of England.